A very good afternoon to you, and thank you so much for joining us. The show is Africa Showdown, where we discuss matters related to Africa and how we can find solutions to some of the things that continue to plague, and how we can highlight some of the happenings across the Africa, even as we try to change the narrative on the African continent. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Miriam Ogutu, and it is a pleasure to have you on board, and we do have so much in store for you. We'll start with the headlines in Kenya, and then our main topic on Kenya will be, can negotiated democracy work in the country? And then thereafter, we shall move on to look at a Pope who cancelled his visit to South Sudan and also to the DRC. What does the cancellation of that visit mean to the peace and negotiation process in South Sudan? And then we'll go to Mali. As we know, it has given an ultimatum, and it has said on 30th, it will be the day they'll be vacating the G5 Sahel region. And so what will that mean as far as fighting militancy is concerned in the Sahel region? And then after that, we shall conclude with the Democratic Republic of Congo. The President of Kenya, President Uhuru Kenyatta, recently announced there will be a deployment of the East African force to restore some security and address the issues around the DRC. I will see how we'll look at that, and is it the troubled country in the region? That and much more. Join us this afternoon. Thank you so much. On the other side, we have Dr. David Matanga. Doctor, very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Miriam. Thank you very much for all of you viewers who are watching us across the world, across the globe. Good afternoon. This is Punchline Africa Television. It's the only television south of Sahara that transmits online. 7 years ago, we did try. And here today, we are still, everybody's online. Good afternoon, Miriam. Good afternoon, all of you, our patrons who have followed us. A patronage, who have given us patronage. Sorry, good afternoon. Thank you very much. It is live from Punchline Africa TV, Africa Showdown. As Miriam has said, we have quite a lot across the bridge. There is no sorrow. Thank you.
Indeed, Doc, thank you so much. And of course, today is Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to you, Doctor, and also happy Father's Day to Daniel Wasonga. I know he's a new dad, and all the fathers who are watching us across Africa and indeed across the globe. I hope that you have a wonderful day. I'll just take us through the headlines. The Sunday Nation, the main headline, big names to quit in Ruto-Raila deals. That is what we have there. And politics of land, how Kenyatta failed to solve colonial mess as 2022 candidate pledged to resolve problems. We go back in history and ask the hard questions. You'll find that on page 19, 20 and 21. DCI summons Sakaja as Haji turns heat on state agency. That is on page 6. And of course, the main story up there, children overexposed to antibiotics, new study finds out now on page 8. And the Sunday Standard, the main headline, inside last lap at State House, President Uhuru Kenyatta is in the twilight days of his regime, and soon he will be referred to as the former president, yet he has uncharacteristically acted like someone who will still be around. What's going on and how have his predecessors handled the historic moment? The story is on page 21, 22, 23. Sad tale of Kenyan in a coma for 7 years in Saudi. That is on page 3. Crisis worsens as cost of maize skyrockets. That is on page 4 and 5. And the Rigathi factor, the choice of Rigathi Gachagua as DP William Ruto's running mate and his style of politics have rocked the unity of purpose in Kenya Kwanza yesterday. Moses Kuria and William Kabogo skipped a rally in Kiambu. Will the center hold? A very good question there. And the story is on page 6. And perhaps that is where we should start our conversation this afternoon. But before that, we are joined by Daniel Wasonga from Nairobi and Javan Karanja all the way from Nanyuki. Thank you all for joining us and being part of the show this afternoon. So, Doc, will the center hold for Kenya Kwanza, Rigathi being the running mate for Deputy President William Ruto?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to Javan Karanja from Nanyuki in the mountains, Aberdares, the slopes of Aberdares, Mount Kenya. Good afternoon, Javan Karanja. We want you to test the microphone. Good afternoon, Daniel Wesonga in the capital city with new father, the father. Now your son cannot say, how are you? But thank you very much. Miriam has already given you those congratulations. Miriam.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Matsanga David, and a very, very good afternoon to Miriam Ogutu in the studios in our headquarters in Nairobi. And I don't know what time it is there in Europe, but nonetheless, good afternoon, Dr. Matsanga David, and good afternoon to our viewers who are watching us from Nairobi, Kenya, East Africa, and the rest of the continent. It is my pleasure to be on the African Showdown this afternoon.
Thank you very much. Miriam, your Garanja is not yet tested on the microphone. We don't know whether he's still there or he's left. Good afternoon, Jagvan. Okay. Miriam, you asked a question. The chaos in Kenya Kwanza. It is very clear that the chaos was coming because the dwindling numbers in the mountain. And as I've said time and time again, if there is no 60% turnout in the mountain, Ruto should start counting his time of departure and go back to sit, look after his chicken. Because Ruto has been banking on the mountain, which he thought was wholesomely behind him. But believe me or not, he's gonna get a shocker. This mountain is not in his pocket. Apparently it has shifted. The ground seemed to be shifting very heavily, very, very seriously when they go down to analyze the promises that were put, what Kenya Kwanza put forward, unrealistic. The insults that Ruto has heaped on President Uhuru Kenyatta, unrealistic. People find it they are seeing the truth. If you see the only party haggling over papers, who has papers, who has no papers, they have sent even people up to the university gates in Kampala to find out anybody. It is Kenya Kwanza. So a lot is happening. Kenya Kwanza is being held by just one person, Ruto and Wetangula and Mudavadi. The rest are flower girls. They don't know exactly what they are doing. The rest are flower girls. People like Kabogo is a flower girl. People like Moses Kuria is a flower girl. People like King Jury is a flower girl. People like King is a flower girl. The worst one is the flower girl of Machakos, who combs hair like a woman. And I think he has a problem. You know, when you find a man combing hair, you know, if you waste your time. These are the ones who waste time on hair. They are flower girls. Alfred Mutua shouts too much, but because of money, media. Today I was reading my Bible, which I'd read for 45 years. I found Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1 to 3, saying, obstinate, the nation that obstinates. Be careful. Don't become a nation of obstinators. Obstinating, to obstinate. There is quite a lot going on here. Open your eyes and see. There are so many people saying so many lies, committing so many sins on top of what they have committed already. And we still continue to praise them. But the Lord says, be careful about the nation. The state where we are now, Miriam, as you will come and ask me another question about what state of affairs or politics, there is something you are putting in your topic, which is very, very interesting. I think the topic, you can remind me a bit so that I can link it a bit here.
Yes,
the topic.
We are coming into it, a negotiated democracy.
Aha! The state where there is ambiguity, ambiguity, a state of ambiguity. The IEBC of ambiguity, there is something wrong. You feel like you are excited as a Kenyan medium, a voter, but something pulls you, says, when you go back to your house, when you are doing your house shows, you are washing your plates or you have just finished your dinner, maybe you are in the sink, then, hey, how are we going to be? Is this? Then you hear, you can be in the sink washing your plates when you hear news, a news item. As a person thinking very patriotically for your nation, you say, hey, where are we going? When they tell you, when the analysts come on TV and say, the IEBC is not prepared, has not been prepared. Yesterday, one analyst put me to a shocker. The lady from Turkana. She has an NGO, I think all of you saw at yesterday night, when she was with another guy of an election democracy, something of Africa, and herself is something to do with younger Democrats. She said the register of political parties has done a great job, but the IEBC has not done a good job at all. That clip is there, Miriam, you can go back. I said, then I stood up and said, what? I thought it was only me, Dr. Matsanga, who has witnessed elections across the continent of Africa and the 52 countries in the world, including East Timor. I always keep on telling people, because if you ask Chebukati off head without him Googling, to Google, he will only Google to get East Timor. He doesn't know where East Timor is. Yes. And that lady was on our TV, you remember? She was some time back. We were interviewing her. And she picked up politics very seriously. She said, no, there is a problem here. There's a big problem here. The IEBC has not done a great job. And still we are pushing for an election. You have people cleared. Now the DPP says everybody must be, not on the doors, but the papers must be found. So Miriam, the troubles in Kenya Kwanza seem to be widening. And I told people, if you see the statement that Moses Kuria has made this morning, that thank you very much for removing us from what? The jaws, the jaws, because the jaws of William Ruto, thank you very much. It's not Matsanga's jaws. They are William Ruto's jaws. He was eating the mountain. He was eating the Kikuyus. He was finishing them by lying to them. The truth has come. They have explained. The final rally is in July. We receive the membership of UDA completely divided into several camps. There will be no vote for William Samoei Ruto. That's my prediction, and I wish God. I've read Isaiah chapter 31 to 3. God, help me, open my eyes. God, you have opened my eyes. I always end my prayer every day in the morning, and I start my prayer and I close my prayer tonight before I go climb to my bed. I say, Jesus Christ, forgive me. I am a sinner. Back to you, Miriam.
Very well, Doc. Thank you. Now the story is on page 6. Just quickly before we get to our main headline on our main topic on Kenya, restlessness surrounding the nomination of Mathira Member of Parliament Rigathi Gachagua as Deputy President William Ruto's running mate is rocking the Kenya Kwanza coalition boat, with a section of leaders faulting his style of politics, beside issuing controversial remarks which he claims have been distorted to perpetuate a narrative that he was not the best choice for Ruto. Gachagua has also been on the receiving end after United Democratic Alliance UDA affiliate parties accused him of sidelining them and plotting to embarrass them in political rallies. UDA affiliate parties that have raised concern other than treatment in Kenya Kwanza rallies include Chama cha Kazi, led by Gatundu South Member of Parliament Moses Kuria, former Kiambu Governor William Kabogo of Tujibebe Party, and Irungu Nyakera's Farmers Party, and the Service Party of former Agriculture CS Mwangi Kiunjuri. Now, the alliance has 12 parties, but UDA Moses Wetangula's Ford Kenya and Musalia Mudavadi's Amani National Congress are listed by the Registrar of Political Parties as the founding parties. So, the restlessness, Daniel Wesonga, since Deputy President picked Rigathi Gachagua as his running mate, he continues to be, I don't know what you would call a liability. Is he a liability or an asset as far as his choice in Kenya Kwanza?
Miriam, I've seen a lot of good to-do Kenyans actually referring to Rigathi Gachagua as the gift that keeps on giving. And that itself is a self-explanatory statement, meaning that, this guy is actually an asset to the opponents, that whenever he speaks, and Dr. Matsanga has been doing quite a lot of analysis, and he talked about him even before he was selected, during the time when he was being haunted by corruption scandals and all that. This is a man, when he speaks, I think he's still stuck in the dark eras of KANU, where he was a DO, where the word from the DO was the law and the true and the full gospel. You could not go against the grain when it came to matters of administration and all that. And we've been seeing people who were in Molo during that time when he was a DO talking about very dark, history of Rigathi Gachagua. And therefore, Miriam, to me, it really even perturbed me that William Ruto could bypass people like Professor Kindiki Kithure, or maybe even Alice Wahome, who do not have such of a bad, maybe dark past, so to say, but go for someone like Rigathi Gachagua, who in essence is innately corrupt, who has been accused of various grave misconduct issues, and someone who cannot even express himself in terms of when you're looking out for a national leader. So I think they appointed Rigathi Gachagua before he could mature, to come up with the stature of a national leader who would match even maybe the charisma and the kind of stature that Martha Karua has in Azimio. So to me, I think it's a blessing in disguise, and therefore you can see the kind of rebellion that he is actually facing inside Kenya Kwanza, not only in UDA, not only in Kazi, in Moses Kuria's Chama cha Kazi, not only in TSP, not only in Farmers Party, but also in ANC Party. You remember, before the appointment of a nomination of a running mate in Kenya Kwanza, ANC pronounced itself and it said, we will have anybody, anything, but not Rigathi Gachagua. So that tells you that there was a disquiet surrounding his nomination as the running mate of William Samoei Ruto. And that in itself, Miriam, it gives you the correct picture, of who the man is. We could talk an entire day, just discussing the past of Rigathi Gachagua. We could talk an entire day just discussing the deficiencies of this man, Rigathi Gachagua. So to me, Miriam, is a gift that keeps on giving, and therefore he's actually an asset to Azimio la Umoja in the mountain. These people will actually be presented with two choices of either choosing to go with a presidential candidate who is moving together with Martha Karua, or a presidential candidate who is moving together with Rigathi Gachagua. And the difference to me is actually stark, It is like day and night. So you in the final round of it, Miriam, your guess is as good as mine, where the people of the mountain are likely to put their votes to, where there is integrity, where the agenda is well catered for, and where they expect that a leadership of integrity will actually thrive and come up to maybe assist the people of the mountain to be able to achieve all the promises, all the legacy projects that President Uhuru Kenyatta has left that are still ongoing. So you can always tell that the choice of Rigathi Gachagua was not equal to to the hour. And therefore, to me, Miriam, I believe, is the greatest asset to Azimio la Umoja. Having such a weak deputy president nominee, having such a man with low integrity, a man who does not control his mouth, and a man who does not even control the way he treats his fellow political players in the same coalition, is actually a problem to his coalition and a baggage to his presidential candidate. And it will have a very, very big impact, Miriam. I can guarantee you that. I submit.
Very well, thank you so much. And I believe Paul Onyango has just joined us. But before we get to Paul, Jevan, if you can hear me, a very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Miriam Mugutu. Good afternoon, Daktari. Good afternoon, Daniel Wasonga.
Okay.
I think it is Onyango, not Javan.
Is Jevan there? I just want to find out.
Javan left Miriam. I think his network was not working
all right.
well.
Okay.
But before you go, welcome to the show, Onyango. But there are newspapers that we left out, the regional papers. Miriam, can I do them?
Okay.
Yeah, the regional papers, the Standard newspaper of Zimbabwe says CCC cries foul as Chamisa is blocked from registering the party. The Daily News says on Sunday, political violence will nuke the country, will kill the country for those who N-U-K-E, nuke. The nuke is it could destroy the country. In other words, these newspapers use very shoddy words. They think everybody understands the English. You know, a very big words like that. Mass communication medium is different. It's different from writing an Oxford degree, doctorate, or master's degree. When you are doing mass communication, you do plain English. Please, I was told that sometime like 7 years ago, someone told me, please, if you are communicating to the people, you are going for an interview, become very simple. Don't bring in things that when you ask what the meaning is, you don't know. Because very many people reading this headline of Zimbabwe, look, what does it mean? He has to go to the dictionary. Thanks God, there is Google now. They will tell you. That is for Zimbabwe. The Independent of London said Tory MPs by-election warning to Johnson. There is a by-election that is going to take place. Rebels said double defeat will deal blow to Prime Minister Johnson's authority. I think it has already taken place. The MPs warned that he should leave. They are still on him. The Sunday Telegraph, unions bribing workers to strike. Oh my God. Has corruption also arrived on the mainland, which is the center of sanity? Workers are being touched. I couldn't believe it. So what is this? Corruption is coming to Britain? Union workers are bribing people to strike, to go on strike in order to make the government ungovernable. Then we have the Punch newspaper, jubilation in Ekiti, as APC wins governor's poll, thrashes SDP and the PDP. The ruling party has won the governorship. I've been on Nigerian televisions talking to them about Africa, but this topic was also among others. I think, Daniel, you heard me. You followed that show on Saturday, that night on Friday. Fantastic show on Democratic Republic of Congo. It was fantastic. And I believe me, go and when you finish, you get me the clip of what I said. Then I send it to the heads of state who are actually meeting on DRC Congo today. That is the Punch of Nigeria, the nation of Nigeria. So Ekiti, APC Oyebanji wins the governorship. Buhari is boosted there. Transfers PDP, STB in 15 local governments. Election records high, voter turnout was very high. My God, this is, they like their own people. You know, this is in the Southwest, where the Yorubas are, and they are looking for somebody who can actually succeed and they change their fortune. The Sunday Monitor in Uganda, people under power, magistrate in Kampala denies Besigye bail because he says if he releases him, he's going to come back to the court again. And then he says it is better not to release him at all, since he will not abide by the bail conditions. It is sad. Report questions the Congo war gains. There is a report that has been made, and you can see President Museveni was meeting his army chiefs, and the questions, what have we gained from Congo? Because media as you have been explaining, the rebels, where they say they have finished the ADF, there is more killings. Have you heard of that, even in those other areas?
But I told you they did nothing.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Let Museveni not hear what you are saying.
It's true. Facts.
They did something. I think they dismantled.
They did not. I think maybe they
have built the bridges.
They underestimated the rebels there. I think they were maybe not adequately prepared because the rebels there are no joke. So it's a challenge.
You know, they have gone somewhere else. The ADF have regrouped somewhere else. They have come. It has now become an insurgence that you in smaller groups, but they are still in the big forest, big forests. The New Vision, which is the Sunday New Vision of the newspaper, Sunday Vision, police uniforms sold on streets. Hala? Why? Uganda is selling fake certificates. Now we are selling even in police uniform. Is there something wrong here, Mr. President? What is going on here? Police uniforms sold on the streets, and this is a government newspaper printing this, not a private newspaper. Police uniforms are sold on the streets. Where is this country going? Then it becomes degrees are sold in the campus. Where is this country going?
Degrees are sold online. You don't even have to go to the campus.
Ooh. Oh my God. Thank you very much, viewers across the continent of Africa. So far, if you have any newspaper headline from your country, I haven't seen Tanzania here today. Ndugu Nyerere alisema, watu yangu ya Tanzania muamukeni mufanye kazi. Why should Europe unite and Tanzania not unite? That's what the doctrine of Nyerere said. European countries are big and they are looking to unite. Now you in Tanzania, you are looking to integrate. So Nyerere was asking them, now if you integrate, you one small tribe, what will you do to a bigger tribe that has existed before for 1,900 years? It has built even an ocean which is underground. You see, Miriam, there is an ocean, but then there is an underground ocean. Did you know that? These guys built even a river, an artificial river, not natural. Rivers usually come naturally, isn't it? But in Britain, rivers have come. If you look at the Thames was dug, and the sides are cemented. It was dug from Atlantic, the English Channel, and the pouring in the Atlantic on this other side. It crosses. If you look again in the north, in the York, there is a river there. It was also dug to bring in goods almost 1,900 years ago. That river there has stayed there. The water just was forced to come in. When will Africa force River Nile for us to relax on River Nile? Miriam, look, If you go on River Thames, the boat can sail all the way to the other end without having a big fall where you say, stop, 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 let's get out. And no, it sails. They leveled it. It was man-made.
Even I think Suez Canal also, the one that connects the Mediterranean.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Was also dug. The only thing we have ever dug in Africa and attached is the Suez Canal. But we can't even level Congo. We can't level Congo to create a man-made lake inside the Congo. We instead steal Congo. We steal Congo. We fight in Congo. We are fighting in Congo. And we are coming on a table that we are making it to this. What I discuss. Anyway, let me not spoil the debate.
Let's complete with the topics first. You done with the headlines?
Yes, finished.
All right, thank you. So I'd like to hear Paul's thoughts on this topic before we get into our main Kenyan topic, and then we move on to the other topics from across the continent. So apparently there's been some restlessness surrounding the nomination of Madeira Member of Parliament, Rigathi Gachagua, as the running mate for DP William Ruto. And notably, I think there has been a lot of opposition and disquiet from members of parliament and political leaders from Mount Kenya region. What is it that, Paul, maybe they know that the rest of the voters don't know, or why do you think this is the case?
Okay, I can say sometimes back here, I said that Rigathi Gachagua was an administrator in Daniel Arap Moi's government. He was a DO in several areas. There's one particular part in Western Kenya around Butere Mumias where farmers who are to be paid their dues for sugarcane. Rigathi Gachagua was one of the first farmers to be paid. If you speak about it, you will be found dead the next day. So Rigathi Gachagua has a very worst past. So many people, if they recall what used to happen in the mid-80s, the Mwakenya time, up to early 90s, so many people suffered in the hands of Gachagua. Some have not forgotten, some have died, some are still alive. So from that bad history, he carries the baggage in the political arena. As well, his brother was a first-time governor in Nyeri, Nderitu Gachagua. Gachagua worked in the county government of Nyeri as chief officer. There were allegations there about what happened after the passing on of his brother, about the county money. Some of those allegations went ahead to create the death of the former governor, Wahome Gakuru. I think those cases are still under investigation. So if you are having a very bad past, like the issue we have at ICC, still lingering on us until today, I don't think that you can make a very good impact when you are selling a very bad idea called bottom up. You use very bad languages, calling people that we are not ready for a woman leadership in this country. We are past that. Gachagua is still behaving like those administrators who used to do very bad things in Moi government. So his conduct, the way he speaks in public, has not been well. He's still living in the past. That tag of the Moi government is still lingering on him. Many people, whenever he speaks, they get annoyed. Some of them even switch on to other stations where he's not speaking. Now, again, that was conducted at DP's residence when they were looking for a running mate. Most legislators from the region where he comes from did not support his candidature. His candidature was forced by the boss, for no reason that Gachagua is the one bankrolling campaigns within the Mount Kenya region. So I think Ruto's campaign with Gachagua, on one end, I think they just folded their eyes. They think that the campaigns in this country is very easy. Selling bottom up is just like selling mandazis or any other thing. But we have come a long way in this country. Most voters think critically. We need to think critically on each side or which block, what they offer for this country. We also look at your past records, what you stand for, what you have done also in this country, maybe as a leader or in a capacity that you have served. Each and every person has a record. So we take a scorecard of each and every individual and the policies you sell around. So Gachagua has not been selling anything isipokuwa tu kutoa matusi, creating confusion, belittling others, saying that money is sweet. I don't know if that is a policy when you tell people that money is a good thing, it's sabuni ya roho. So Gachagua is not somebody selling anything. He's there to stand in just to create a space that was loved by his boss. Gachagua is loved by his boss, not anybody else. The rest are sitting where I've taken a back seat. So I think he's giving the competition. Peter Kenneth has been saying each and every rally, we are heading 70%, maybe we will reach 90. Ikifika tarehe 8 ama tarehe 9. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that, Paul. So now let's just get into our topic.
Yeah, before you get into breaking news. Come. The IEBC has thrown out the case against Wavinya Ndeti. The IEBC has thrown, that means Wavinya Ndeti is on the ballot. There is no case about his certificates. They have discovered they are genuine, and therefore his case has been thrown out. The university came in and wrote and even sent a representative to say in case they want anything, they wrote and they said, you can talk to us in the offices. She did qualify with her aggregated, and I was explaining to people here the other day. If you have 10 diplomas, 5 diplomas, 6 certificates, you don't need to go and do, you have already done degree. So, and the IEBC at the same time has disqualified and recommended that the senatorial candidate for Kiambu, Mr. Funga should not be allowed to be near the ballot. Therefore, his ballot paper will not be printed. His name will not be on the print. Miriam, remember.
Senator of which side? Oh, what is
Senatorial UDA.
Okay.
UDA senatorial candidate will not be on the ballot. And I want to remind the people called Karungo, Thunga Karungo, is no longer on the ballot. Remember, it is only tomorrow. If your name is not in, IEBC will not print your papers. You will not eat it. So you can even go and contest from Mara Forest.
And Sakaja's matter, they're still looking into it. Oh, he was given until tomorrow to bring his transcripts and everything else supporting his degree journey. From
Yeah, by 12.
Okay.
Yes, but you know what, Kenyans are crazy people. They have already sent there a group of people. Have you seen the people crowded on that university door in Kampala? Have you seen the photograph? Can I send it to you? The guys from Azimio, they are there. They have gone to the university. They are waiting tomorrow to see the management. They want to see in Mr. Sakaja's old boys. So they have made the work of DCI.
And Sakaja, was it on Friday when he took himself to the DCI? He said that maybe he will not present the things that are required that CUE asked him to present, because he's saying no other candidate has been asked to present some of these supporting materials. So he's saying it's unfair on his part. It's targeted.
But, yes.
We can't hear you, Paul. You're very low.
Why are we?
We can't hear you.
You are saying what, Paul? Come here. Yes.
What I'm saying?
Yes.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Why are we exporting our bad characters to other countries?
No, our country is also exporting bad characters by selling uniforms, police uniform, bad degrees. What the hell, Mr. President? Why do Makerere University is one of the universities that is one of them in Africa? How can we be associated with selling people degrees? Now there is some story here that police uniforms are bought in the streets. How many people are going to be killed in that country?
And Doc, just to remind our viewers, remember Makerere has a leadership academy named after who?
Sorry.
Remember the leadership academy at Makerere?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, we cancelled it. What do you think? I protested to the president. They cancelled the Ruto's name from Makerere Leadership Academy. No. That one I told, no. Let him build a university somewhere. Let him, you still launder the money. You want to build a hospital, an academy in our... Shut up. Hii watu wengine watafanya sisi turudi kwa porini. Hey! Mnatusumbua. Mr. President, what's going on here? All people who have this saga of degree, Mr. President, some of them the usual way. Look, some of them in the camp inside. You know the good thing when the pressure comes on him like this. What a university atafunga. You know? Mm-hmm. I remember one. Do you know, when I raised the alarm of Harun Eyadin, he said, what? Then that same week, God was with me, as he has been there for me. They arrested a Kenyan who trained in Turkey. Miriam, you remember that boy who said he trained in Turkey? Wallahi wa Museveni anasema, you people always talk about this Matsanga. This Matsanga is correct. Look at that. This man should never step in this country. Ruto now, why? Ruto always goes, he could have run to Kampala like 4 times now to steal, then come back to collect his money, then now he can't. Why are we spreading our name here? Uganda. They want to insult me because I'm Ugandan, but not my country. Mm-hmm. My country has got dignity on education. Makerere University, surely. For you to be quoted by BBC as stolen degree from Makerere, from Uganda.
But I'm sure that has been brought to the attention of the Minister of Education, so I'm sure Madam Janet and those concerned will do something about it. I don't think this is a matter. I don't think this is a matter. No. I have no backstory about that. I'm just saying maybe they didn't know. So that means that they'll address this matter with the seriousness that it requires, so that
no, it is now. Like this, it is now a police. Yeah. You are right,
yes.
Miriam.
So they will not take it lightly.
It is a police matter. And it is not going to be taken lightly.
There's a possibility the Ministry of Education they didn't know such things are going on, so they'll take up the matter.
No, on this one I agree. I support Madam Janet Museveni. As a minister, he might have not known what was going on. It's also the Uganda government is going to going to act. And for her, the good thing is that she's very religious. She's not like a Rachel. She's not like a Rachel Ruto. She is real religious. And that is why our country has been saved. Mama is really religious.
Okay.
When he says no, she doesn't perform a miracle of borehole water. Our First Lady says no. Not no when you are also a group paying people to finish witnesses. Inakuja hiyo. By the way, Miriam, have you heard something? Kindiki Wahome Mulukomeni Kuchumba, the thieves, the 2 thieves. Wahome has never stolen anything from me. But these 2 thieves, you know what they have done? They have set up a committee. Things are not very good in Kenya Kwisha. Kenya Kwisha, KK is in trouble. Look at this. They have set up a committee of legal interpretation Article 42. Candidates could change. You know they are going to change very many candidates.
and that's what we're getting into, Doc. So you've started off on our next topic on negotiated democracy.
Oh, okay. Sorry, yes. I am. You know, at times my head boils like a Congo. It boils like a Congo forest. Thank you very much, Miriam. Back to you in the studio. Our First Lady is really Christian. If she finds that the degrees were stolen, I bet she's going to close that university and it will be fired. And then the husband will follow by arresting those. For us in Uganda, we don't mess. For you, you see, we don't mess. Our revolution was got by blood. So for us, we have no mercy. If you come across us and you mess us with us, we kill you. And that is what we do. And yesterday, President Museveni said, if you have any soldier, if you have bullets, those bullets are not for decoration. He was addressing his soldiers that the more bullets you have, you don't need. Thank you very much. Excuse me. God bless. Let me have my water.
All right. So now let's look at the main story on page. On the main story on the Sunday Nation, big names to quit in Ruto Raila deals, negotiated democracy, coalitions in race against time to convince candidates to drop ambitions and avoid splitting vote inside the persuasive tactics and subtle threats being used for negotiated exits. The story is on page 7. And hundreds of candidates for various seats who have since spent millions of shillings in the campaigns are likely to be pushed out in a final attempt by main political formations to secure more seats. Deputy President William Ruto's Kenya Kwanza alliance is targeting 546 candidates across the country to drop out of the August 9th contest in areas it has multiple of them in a bid to avoid giving independents or Azimio contestants an advantage. Insiders told the Sunday Nation that coast and western regions will be the most affected by the latest scheme and could trigger political backlash in DP Ruto's camp about 50 days to the polls. The headache in this carrot and stick stake is how to convince the candidates to give up their ambitions. The options targeting MCA, MPs, women representatives, and senator and governor candidates is use threats of campaigning against those who refuse to drop their bids while promising rewards like a slot in presidential campaign teams and ultimately government positions to those who agree to a negotiated exit. The end game is to get majority seats in most counties or close minority in county assemblies, the National Assembly, Senate, and the Council of Governors. So quite interesting there. I don't know what you make of this, Wesonga, this negotiated democracy. I don't know if it's a negotiated democracy or sounds more like a coercion, but, is it a strategy that is going to work?
Thank you so much, Miriam. And of course, for Kenya Kwanza, I would say it is not quite a strategy per se, but it's a game of coercion, since the kind of intimidation you are seeing even from Brigadier Gachagua, in these kind of negotiations, you will not say that these candidates are giving up their candidatures willingly, as we've seen in Azimio, where we have structured dialogues, where we talk about, okay, this candidate is going to step down, and they do it actually willingly. That is why we see today in Kiambu County, we have 3 gubernatorial candidates who are all allied to Kenya Kwanza, and they are not actually willing to cede ground for any of the candidates, each other. You've seen in Kakamega, despite the fact that Dr. Boni Halwale ceded ground for Cleophas Malala, he is not actually 100% in support of the decision, and he feels that he was the right candidate to be the governor of Kakamega or to fly the flag of Kenya Kwanza. And that is why they are fighting in their rallies. So I think, Miriam, negotiated democracy is actually just working in Azimio. But in Kenya Kwanza, we can see strong tactics, the kind of the tactics we used to see in Kanu, where even a gun could be pointed at your head so that you drop your bid. And I think it is not democracy. To me, it is coercion and pure blackmail to the candidates of this particular coalition. And soon, Miriam, it is not going to hold, because, they can only maybe manipulate these candidates in as much as time allows. But soon enough, I believe everything is going to collapse. And you have seen that yesterday they gave William Ruto's campaign in Kiambu a white bath, that is Moses Kuri and William Kabogo. So that shows you that there is a bit of disquiet in the way they have been negotiating this kind of democracy. So I don't think it is a negotiated democracy. The negotiated democracy that we know is whatever we've been seeing in northern Kenya, whatever we are seeing in Azmi, actually, that's now what we call negotiated democracy, where Kalonzo Musyoka is told, don't maybe go for the running mate position. Actually, we are going to give you maybe these other positions. So you support Raila Odinga and Martha Karua. And he goes in the campaign trail and campaigns for them, where Richard Ngate is told, you step down for Polycarp Igathe because he is capable more than you. And then we're going to be having you maybe play this role in the campaign. And he actually goes and campaigns vehemently. The other day when Kindiki Kithure was told that he cannot be the running mate to William Ruto, he spent almost a week, just staying away from Karen and not wanting anything to do with the Kenya Kwanza campaigns. And in fact, he went on a national television and said he was not even ready for any political appointment until maybe after the elections, even after the election, sorry. So it means there was some kind of acrimony. It reached to a level where he actually even gave up on his political ambitions. So to me, Miriam, I think negotiated democracy should be between two parties that have the goodwill, who agree on a mutual understanding that one party is going to give up their ambition so that the other can thrive. And it has to be on a mutual agreement, not only on one side, which is actually coercing and using strong arm tactics to twist the other, so that the other one can thrive, as we are seeing in Kenya Kwanza. So if you are to ask me, if we have negotiated democracy in Kenya, and which example should we actually take and enact and be able to showcase, then I would say it is only in Azimio la Umoja One Kenya lands where we've been able to see such kind of scenario here in Kenya.
Okay. Now, UDA Vihiga woman representative candidate Jacqueline Munesi was recently forced out of the race in favor of ANC's Beatrice Adagala, who is an incumbent, while in Mumias West, Jacqueline Okanya of ANC is being edged out in favor of Rashid Echesa. The alliance is using internal popularity surveys to carry out the purge. And we've seen in the recent times, I think the one that really shocked a lot of Kenyans and supporters in Azimio was when Kitui Governor Charity Ngilu gave up her gubernatorial bid, in support of somebody else. And that seems to have something that they talked about and agreed upon. So this negotiated democracy, is it something that, will work out? Because as you see in Kenya Kwanza, they're lining up about 546 candidates across the country who will be forced to drop out of the August 9th race. Could some of this backfire, Doc?
First of all, Miriam, I'm delighted to come to this subject. And this subject of negotiated democracy. This subject of negotiated democracy is only done, and I want to be very honest, negotiated democracy can occur in a homogeneous society. Are we together? I'm teaching now here. This is my subject. Homogeneous society. A homogeneous society is the society that speaks one language, culture, religion, and other norms. You can do negotiated democracy in Garissa. You can do negotiated democracy in Somalia, Saudi Arabia. But you can't do negotiated democracy in Uganda. You can do negotiated democracy in Britain. What calls the British? What makes the British British? They have a social contract. You can do negotiated democracy in China. They eat once, they eat noodles, and they eat together on one plate. But you, Matanga, Miriam, we want the dining to be lightened. We can't do negotiated democracy. You want to eat cassava? I want to eat matoke. You want to ugali. When you reach my house, the first thing you say, ulipiga na ugali kidogo. You say, are we following each other? You ulipiga kagali kidogo. When a Ugandan reaches your house, uko na matoke kidogo. Aya, there can be no negotiated democracy. That's why the political parties are finding it very difficult, because what is in the house of Owino is not in the house of Awili, or Awiti, or Otieno, or Baraza, or Namwamba, or Nafula, or Naranya, or Okot, or Kura Okot, or that Ruto, that one. They're not. He's eating chicken, we are not eating chicken. There's no day Ruto can fail to eat food, because 2 eggs in the house from the chicken, he will eat. But now you can't tell the Kikuyu to eat eggs only. That let's negotiate. You eat eggs. Then when you reach there, you will also eat my, instead let me, it can vary for some time. The Kikuyu will ask you, when he fasts, you can prepare everything. for a Kikuyu leader, a visitor. So he'll come to your plate and look, then he say, where is Waru? Waru. Waru. You can prepare everything for a Luo. Good meat smelling cow, you even slaughtered one of the best cows. But he will tell you, he'll ask you, where is Mena? Mena? Is it Mena or Mena? Where is Samaki? Samaki iko wapi? But you can go to Somalia and eat mutton in one house, in one restaurant, pilau in one restaurant with mutton. They all sit together. What is happening in clan A happens in clan B, happens in clan C. They all move with their democracy, nomadic, pastoral democracy. It is never grown in one place, only negotiated. You can negotiate in homogeneous society, both underdeveloped, middle income, developed. In developed areas like China, there is a policy so short. If you are not working, there is rice coming by PO box for you to feed. Have you ever heard of people dying of hunger in China? Tell me. 40 years people in China were dying of hunger. But here now, here in Kenya, there is food going to the west somewhere. Not because Kenya does not have the food, but there is somebody, as we speak now, throwing the food that he ate yesterday, and there's someone sleeping hungry tonight. But in China, if they see you throwing that food and the temperatures are very clear, you might even go to a firing squad. You have wasted the resources. In North Korea, for example, Miriam, you cannot eat food in a restaurant and fail to wash the plate. You know the sentence for that? 3 months in jail. In North Korea, there are no waiters and waitress. They are only supervisors who stand in a restaurant and watch you. When you, like, have you seen this chair of mine, Miriam? I found it like this. I put it back the way it is. I go, I wash the plate, the sink is there, the machine is there. You put on the button, wash the plate, leave it to dry, and pay your bill and go. People are disciplined. But when Americans go there, they tell them, you are dying of this, you are dying of this. They are spoiling their culture. The culture of South Korea and North Korea. South Korea, why is it that, ask Americans, why is it that they don't eat snakes? Show me one tribe in America who could not eat snakes. Show me. I'm listening. But when an American flies into Seoul, the South Korean capital, the first wine that he asks for is snake wine. Bring me 2 bottles of snake wine, chilled. But back in America, there is no farm that grows snakes for export. It is only Wachikoya inventing it. Back here and there, because he went to Texas where he married and found someone has got a python in the house and they thought we can come and have a python here. So a social negotiated democracy. Miriam, our TV is to teach people. And I'm happy. Do you know what? I'm very happy with you. I'm very, very, in my heart, if you opened it, you would see how happy I am. Because you are teaching people. At times, sit behind and listen to the way you speak. I even go back and say, hallelujah, I found a follower. You teach people, you reason, you tell them. You can't have negotiated democracy in a
homogeneous.
Yes. Style, country. Homogeneous democracy, homogeneous decisions that are agreeable can only come when you have a social contract. When you have the culture together, the religion. Britain, Labour Party sits back. In 1998, I give you an example, Miriam. In the name of God, if I did not oppose Blair in the delegates conference, I swear, if I did not oppose Blair in the delegates conference in Brighton, Miriam, your brother here would be the MP for Croydon Central. Just that, I had got it. The Labour Party had given me a free constituency. Robin Cook pushed me up to that level. And I had reached a delegate of the constituency. A delegate, and you know politics is in Matanga. Some of these guys did not know politics of Africa. You are telling them now, River Nile comes from Uganda, not from Cairo. You know, look here, I want the hearts of the constituents. When they said delegates who are going to go, he said that one there. This is the guy, that guy, your Dr. I stand up. They say, hey, that is, have you seen that negotiated democracy? They have given you because of your good manners. Good manners. Good behavior. Negotiated democracy looks at good behavior. A cadre who has worked so hard. And then, above all, even if you lose, you are not going to go and walk and your shoes bend while you are looking for something to do. It's a social contract. If you don't have the job, there is employment benefit. Unemployment. Look, there is employment benefit and unemployment benefit, which Raila is trying to upgrade you Kenyans. The only man who's going to upgrade this country to the level that a Kenyan can feel happy is the policy of Raila Amolo Odinga, of a social policy. That if you don't have a job, you register and say, I lost my job. That if you are an elderly like Matanga at his age in Britain, there would be a check of 1,995 coming per month. Masikia hapo. And a medium, that is what we call a social contract. That check will drop a letter. Madam Miriam, the letter will not, nobody is going to chase you. The letter will chase you. Where are you? You have reached the age of 65. Where are you? We want you to start preparing your grave. How do you want it to look like? Which is not African for me. We want you to apply for this because we need to know what you need. Are you sickly? Are you disabled? Are you sick? What type of medicine? Can we remove you from this? You don't buy the medicine because you are an elderly. A social contract is among the nations. swear you can have negotiated democracy. Negotiated democracy, therefore, cannot work in Ruto's Kenya Kwanza or Azimio's Raila Odinga. It will only cause chaos. The only thing is to be here, you apply, not negotiated. You need to apply. Can I say the word? Besonga, can you finish? Do you know the type of democracy should apply here? No. Personal integrity democracy. And be firm and tell somebody that I'm sorry. I am the leader of the party. If you want to stand on an independent ticket, thank you. Go. But you can't negotiate democracy here. You are gonna, if the moment you start, you see why in Badi.
But Doc, it worked for, say, Azimio in Nairobi. They had a negotiation.
No, do you know why it worked in Nairobi? Because there were two parties. There were several parties in Nairobi. Would be in UDA. Yes. But because there is a coalition, they came and said these are the values and the values. That's why you see now UDA is having a very big problem that they have set a committee to look at Article 42. In case Sakaja is dropped out, in case Kachagwa, because they are seeing Kachagwa coming down because the judges are about to rule. They're about to rule
on the
whether
241 names. On the 241 names that were accessed
yes,
by the EACC.
Yes. They have not, they were supposed to rule on Friday. The bench where Justice Majanja is, they're about to rule whether those can be in the election or not. And it won't be long. This week they will make a ruling. So in case they make a ruling, you can't do an appeal and wait. The IEBC has to print the ballots. You have to get Plan B. Plan B. And use Article 42 to collect what we call a standby candidate, like in the case of Keith Kalonzo, sorry, who was technically knocked out as a Wiper candidate, and the Wiper could not wait because time was running out. He didn't have the ID. They had to bring in a candidate on standby who replaced Keith Kalonzo. You see that? So there are so many, there is quite a lot. You know, Kindiki being a lawyer, an ICC in smelling man, he sniffs. He has heard what is going on even in the ICC. Are you with me, Miriam? Mm-hmm. That there is likelihood, there is likelihood of shocker. There are so many shocks coming ahead here. In fact, Uda might end up to have no candidates on ballot. They can be on ballot by paper, but they might not be able. So they are preparing for that. They have smelling something. Because the law, the IEBC law does not allow you, either if they to vote you in absentia. There is no law. Have you looked at the Kenyan law that says we can even vote Mandela when he's in prison?
Even Mandela was voted when he was out of prison.
Thank you. So the constitution, when you are writing a constitution, always write a constitution to leave space for other people to sleep. Now this constitution, a Kuro court wrote, he did not see the other side, that one day people might follow this side. It remained mum. It remained mum on signatures. It remained mum on a vice president. That's why he's being tear gassed now. Because the authorities, the police here, whom Mr. Kachagwa always says they are badly paid, they have just come to increase their tear gas. The police, you know, Kachagwa has got this thing everywhere. He's telling the police that they are poorly paid. Yes. You know, so the police now say, no, we are not poorly paid. We have the tear gas to give you.
He told them the other day that they should get some training so that they get a job. So which means...
they are doing an exercise. It's like America coming to Indian Ocean to do an exercise on how they will be protecting themselves in case North Korea sends a missile. So the police are training on Uda today, as we said, in Jacaranda grounds, with very heavy tear gas. So if you go on provoking a situation, mark you, for any provocation, there is a counter. Kachagwa has been provoking the police. And the police have come to say, okay, if this man said we are poorly equipped, let's just use this tear gas for today to show that we are not poorly equipped. We have more. I'm told they have even got water with red paint. And when it splashes on your body, police will catch you to say you are on that rally and you are one of the people disturbing anywhere. Police can stop and catch you. The paint doesn't go off. This time police are well organized. So Miriam, in a nutshell, not to believe, go deeper or talk too much about the negotiated democracy. The Kenya Kwanza cannot afford, the Azimio cannot afford a negotiated democracy. Because negotiated democracy needs a homogeneous society with a social contract. Either social contract or homogeneous. Well, is there anything in Saudi Arabia that says when the king dies, the son, first son, or the first brother, or the second brother takes? Homogeneous society, they speak the same language. They say, let him go. Is there anything in Britain? Prince Charles is waiting. Do we know it already? Have you seen a motion in the parliament to say, aware of this, aware of... No.
No, that is, the monarchy is different from the democracies.
No, but I'm bringing it in from the point of a social contract. A monarchy is there, but there could be people who disagree with the monarchy, isn't it? But because they have a social contract, Miriam, whether a monarchy or a republican, whether the Republican of Northern Ireland, they still go on Friday to get their check from the post office. So that social contract ties them. Why do we disrupt the system? That's what are you seeing what I mean? Why do you disrupt the system? Let it go on because there's a social contract. The parliament will go on whether king, queen is present or not present. The parliament goes on, the prince becomes the leader of the monarch. The monarch is ceremonial. They have agreed on that. Every British Commonwealth. On Tuesday, we are coming to celebrate something that we Africans took over from the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth starts in Rwanda on Tuesday morning. And I can assure you, Miriam, here is the letter. Dear David, the Commonwealth, they have invited me. Dear David, it is here. Here. I don't know whether people can read. You see that? That's the Commonwealth. They have invited me. I think you can see here. Dear David, it's not me. To be able to attend the Commonwealth, why are we attending? It's because we feel there's a social contract that we can also look like Britain. We value what the monarch has done for 1,900 years. And we are glued there. But back at home, we cannot do. We
value partly what they've done, but also we cannot forget what that monarchy has done, especially in Africa.
Yeah, the monarchy, what has it done, which has not been done elsewhere?
The history is very dark. The colonialism, that is something that we
can't. Medium.
It has done well, but also that is part of it.
Nobody can. We shall have an argument about that tomorrow morning.
Yeah. And it's interesting that they don't teach colonialism in the British schools. That astounds me. It's interesting.
They don't teach, but we speak their language. Why are we not speaking Swahili?
That is not the point.
The point
they have
is
to
why
acknowledge the good. They have to acknowledge the good and the other part also. And how they messed up some of these countries in this continent.
That is the law of Socrates.
Doc, all right. We will have that conversation another time.
Don't leave that point. The law of Socrates, there is a bad side and a good side. Not all of us can say, yes, we love the monarchy. Not all of us can say, yes, it did good things. But the things that the monarchy and the Commonwealth has done to the Commonwealth can be seen. For example, there are so many people who got education through the Commonwealth British Council, scholarships. And they are back here teaching English, speaking exactly like a medium.
And there's nothing wrong with the indigenous languages. English does not measure intelligence. English is just, but there's nothing wrong with Swahili.
I do agree, but you speak Swahili.
I do.
How many times when I start my Swahili here?
I do.
You even, no, wait. When I start my Swahili here, you start laughing at me.
No.
Yeah. Wacha tuambiane ukweli wewe Miriam. When I start my Swahili, no. Yeah. When I start Swahili here, you are the first person who looks there and holds the paper like this.
Yeah.
You know, when I know you, when you are holding the paper like this, you are laughing.
Yeah.
Swahili.
Because you're struggling, but I can speak good Swahili.
Yeah, I am struggling to speak Swahili.
I can speak
but if
good
now
Swahili,
I start speaking
and I can speak good other indigenous languages, and there's nothing wrong with these languages in this continent, and English is not a measure of intelligence.
It is not a measure of anybody, neither Chinese, neither Russian, neither Gujarati, Indian, neither Pakistani, neither Arabic.
Have you seen countries like Germany, Norway, these other countries? If you want to go there, you learn their language. You want to go stay in China, you learn their language. And they have maintained, and there's a reason why. They don't want to
I don't know, Miriam, you are arguing on both sides.
No, I'm just saying there's a reason why. Because they don't, as much as they are part of that Western civilization, but also their language is part of their identity, part of who they are. So if you want to go to Germany, you have to learn German. If you want to go
to why is it when I want to learn Swahili, you laugh at me?
That is besides the point.
Now, Dr.
No, it isn't the point. When I start making mistakes on Swahili here, Miriam is laughing at me. Exactly. I keep quiet. So I fear even now to speak any word in Swahili.
You speak English, Shakespearean. Paul, would you like to say something?
Oh, no.
Yes, I have a point.
Yes, Paul, go ahead.
Just look at
we can't hear you, and please speak closer to you. Yeah.
You can hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, when the missionaries, the European missionaries, the first ones who came to Africa, even the voyagers from Portugal, they came and studied our language such that they were able, even the Arabs, they came and studied our language so that we are able to interact. Then they later on came and changed it. I think the language is just where it is dominant. That's why when you want to go to Europe, in any other country, you will learn the dominant language there for you to make your work easier. So when they also came to Africa, they also learned our language, how we speak. I think it depends on where you are.
Okay. But the topic that we were looking at, Paul did not get a chance to comment on the negotiated democracy before.
We have very little time left, but
he could say something.
We can incorporate that tomorrow in the Commonwealth. Can we debate that one on the Commonwealth? But Paul, if you have comments,
I'll be happy to talk about that actually. But Paul, let's talk about negotiated democracy.
Put it and bring your points, because you might have very stiff competition.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, because Miriam is German. You know, she has been studying German, and she doesn't want us to study English.
No, that is not what I said.
You like German. You like the German so much. You even speak German better than any of us.
No. Let's not overtalk. Let's not overtalk. Yeah, we've said we leave that for tomorrow. So let's.
Well, Songa, do you realize that William has been doing so much Germany for me? I missed words. The other day I said the Kumla theory.
Yes.
Then he said it is called Kumla. What is it called?
Kumla.
Kumla. You see, she speaks better German. Miriam, she has been trained to go the German way. And even the first thing she says, countries like German, like, Allah. Thank you.
Like a lot of countries, even in the Scandinavian and others across the world.
You see.
Yeah.
English is the global language of business and enterprise.
Okay.
Yes.
I wanted... Paul has not commented on negotiated democracy, so I would like to hear his thoughts on that, and then we can talk about Pope cancelling his trip to South Sudan and what that means. Paul, go ahead.
Okay. My take is this on negotiated democracy. Okay, when you look at the format under which Azimio has been bringing agreements concerning fielding of candidates in certain regions. They use various parameters such that to make the election not be where they lose, what they are trying to do is to avoid losing a seat where they would have won easily. And this, they have learned lessons since 1992, when we have multi-party general elections. So the Azimio have learned one way is that you look at the dominant party in a particular region. You would any other party that might have had interest in fielding a candidate in that region would be told maybe to leave that region for the other. So in Kenya, Kwanza, if you look at it the way the coalition has been cobbled, you find that the coalition is just on the lips, but the way it is designed, you find UDA as a larger share. Even the areas where they are not supposed to field candidates, you'll find UDA is fielding candidates, which means that there's too much. I would call the UDA fraternity, I would call them, for a better lack of a better word, they are gluttons, in other words. They do not want to leave space for the ANC and for Kenya and many other parties that for in their fold to be given a space. So you find it be more difficult for that's why you find that so many squabbles going on each and every time they do their campaigns, like the one that happened in Kiambu between Kabogo and Wamatangi, that one between Malala and Boni Alwale and many other areas. So I think it is only that somebody is getting more clever than the other. That's why it has not worked for them. But had it been that they sat down properly, they would have mapped areas they agree, then they ensure that they get the right candidates so that it could be more competitive, similar the way it is, the way the Azimio have done it. Even though they have had some areas where they were not successful, but largely they tried to achieve something. That's my take.
All right. Okay. I hear you. Thank you so much. And I think it will be fair to say that marks the end of our topics in Kenya. We have a few minutes, and maybe we could see how we can look at some of these topics that we had lined up for our viewers this afternoon. And we start with this one from South Sudan, where Pope Francis has postponed his upcoming trip to the Democratic Republic of Congo and South Sudan due to an ongoing knee problem, the Vatican confirmed last Friday. At the request of his doctors and in order to not to jeopardize the results of the therapy he is undergoing for his knee, the Holy Father has been forced to postpone with regret his apostolic journey to the DRC, and South Sudan Vatican spokesperson Matteo Bruni said in a statement, Francis, who is 85 years old, has been suffering from pain in his right knee in recent weeks and last month relied on a wheelchair for the first time at a public event. He has cancelled numerous engagements. Scheduled trip to Lebanon in June was also postponed and has sometimes been seen struggling to walk. The Vatican has not said officially what the problem is, although sources have told AFP he has chronic arthritis, and the Pope himself has also spoken of an injured ligament in his knee. So I guess my question this afternoon will be, because these two places the Pope had planned to travel, right now there's an active conflict in the DRC, and the Pope was scheduled to go to Goma and South Sudan, I think, to just check up on how the peace process, especially the revitalized peace process of 2018 is ongoing and the implementations of some of those articles there. So with the failure of Pope going, Doc, what does this mean to this fragile peace process, especially in South Sudan?
South Sudan is a state in limbo, a state that operates in Juba, the capital city, but back in the countryside, there is still something which is not very correct. It's fragile. A limbo, a state in limbo means there's no governance in all states that govern that compose of South Sudan. There are some people still saying there's a lot of highway fighting, human rights abuses, killings, abductions, slaughter, rape, cutting people's heads without mercy because of tribe. Those type of things is actually a pot that has cooled down on surface, but under there is quite a lot of problems. There are quite a lot of problems that East Africa must stand. His Excellency President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is a peaceful man who loves peace. Time has come for him also to call the South Sudan conference. I can see His Excellency has done a great job in Ethiopia, between Ethiopia and Tigray. I can see he has done a great job in DRC Congo. Today he has summoned heads of state and other government and other people, security agencies, to map out an East African rapid force, as we shall look at Congo. The government of Kenya still have the upper hand in influencing the problems that are surfacing in the Sudan peace process. They don't have the money to police some of the institutions. Most of the little money that comes is eaten, corruptly taken by corrupt officials. The oil that drops, before it drops, it has already been sold. The money has been eaten. Civil servants are not being paid. South Sudan, in summary, is a country that needs to be put under the United Nations mandate. I'm sorry. I don't know why the United Nations is not helping South Sudan. I don't know why we Africans are second class in everything that we do. I don't know why we are even talking about Ukraine more. We are summoning our heads of state to go to sit down in AU to discuss Ukraine. But we have a problem in South Sudan where South Sudanese are dying. We have a chance to remove that death. We have a chance to make sure that there is a hybrid tribunal that can put these men on trial and stop any more fighting. Hallelujah. Why haven't we done it? We have done a peace process of South Sudan upside down. There is no peace process in the world that is done by structuring the presidency, the political presidency, without structuring the human rights presidency. Hello? 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 The political science that I read, the conflict resolution management I read, the mediation I read, agenda number 5 is the most paramount. You cannot structure President 1, President 2, President 4. In Serbia, first we looked at a tribunal, Yugoslavian tribunal. Why haven't we looked for South Sudan tribunal? There are people here who don't know where their parents are. There are people here who don't know their fathers are. They don't know where their sisters, their brothers are. We have gone straight to look for political hierarchy. We might increase to 10 vice presidents, but we might not find a solution for South Sudan until we put what we call, Miriam, a deterrent measure. What is the most deterrent measure? And those people who claim to be read, who claim to have gone to school, must listen to me today. That until you put a deterrent measure in South Sudan, you are wasting your time. If there is any scholar who has any better brain on this one, come and we talk. A deterrent measure. What will stop any raw criminal picking a gun to go and fight? 1, a hybrid tribunal. Is there still a gun in Liberia? Is there still a gun in Liberia? Answer me, or anybody in the world who is watching. Is there a gun in Liberia? You see, when I start eating this subject, which I know very well, I feel angered. Is there a gun in Sierra Leone? Is there a gun in Sierra Leone? Hello? People, heads of state, don't lie to us. Don't lie to us. The best deterrent of South Sudan is a hybrid tribunal to find 384,000 people died. You have not found a solution for them. You have not arrested their ghosts, their spirits. Agenda number 5 of any peace process. If there are some of these people work with books here that I have done, I have heard this, I have done conflict. Where? Show me. If you don't do agenda number 5, where will you take South Sudan? If you don't do accountability, somebody sent an army to kill people, cold blood, and you are telling me we should move on without accountability of how these people died. Never. This won't work. And that's why God has told Pope not to come. Pope Paul kissed my... Look at these arms. I've left my ring behind. Look at it. It is there. I have. Look at these hands. Pump. Look. When I look at it, why I'm still here. Dr. Obita, you are watching me wherever you are in Uganda. Didn't the Pope kiss our hands? Didn't the Pope kiss our hands? Amama Babas, you are watching me. Pope Paul kissed our hands in the Vatican. When we are doing the Uganda peace talks, the first one, forget about this rubbish. The second, the first, Aboke girls, to release the Aboke girls. We are dead. Look at us. We hammered the peace. It's not that Uganda fighting anymore. It's not that Uganda fighting anymore. Because we went there, we told the truth. We said, it is Mr. Bashir who gives us the guns. Did you hear me very upset like this? It's Mr. Bashir. He gave us the guns. Just as the government of Uganda and Kenya were giving SPLA the guns. Yes. Can you say you didn't? I was in government. I was in government when Dr. Milton Obote was giving Garang, the late Garang was my commander. He gave me $1,600 in Serena. 3 days before I left, I went back to London. May his soul rest. He told me go and pay school fees for the children. I paid the last fee, cleared my bill. May his soul rest in peace. If he was alive, he would not like to see this mess. But the conspiracy finished. In Africa, we always lose good leaders. And we are left with very dangerous bad leaders. Some of them, like a Paul Biya. Like a Paul Biya. The one whose wife goes to clean hair for $1 million. $1 million. And it is the one who lives in Switzerland and flies to govern Africa. Stupid. What's wrong with this Africa? Do we have a problem here? God, why did you do this to us? You have a leader, he knows he's going to die, he's dying, but he's still hanging on power. He's not making a transition. I told Mugabe to make a transition. I was frank. In Addis Ababa, I told the late President Mugabe. He called me in his room. And he also gave me $1,229 to go and pay my rent. Not my rent, my accommodation in the Blue, Radisson Blue. Because he said, you're a refugee, you have done a very good job for my country, Zimbabwe. And when I came down from his room, I found the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Zimbabwe getting a bribe of $50,000 in hard cash, clean money, when they were electing Amina Mohammed versus Dr. Muhammad Faki. Stupid Africa, stupid. I took a photograph and I sent it to President Mugabe. The Minister Simbarashi was sacked. What can Simbarashi do to me, fucking bastard? What can he do? Stupid Africans. He was getting money from that woman of oil of Africa, Total Africa, in hand notes, where they were paying everybody so that they don't elect Amina Mohammed. AU died. If AU was in African hands in Kenya, it would be very vibrant. We would not be talking of South Sudan. By now, we would have a force that can go and dismantle these rebels who go and kill people. Today I've opened up. And anybody crossing the line can cross with me now. Enough is enough. Look at what we are doing. No deterrent in Sudan. We keep on singing. We keep on singing. Let there be a tribunal for South Sudan. You will see even a rebel. These rebels who drink wine as if wine will get finished in the world. Go to these hotels and find them gulping wine. Look at them. You go to Uganda and see how they eat. They even eat. They fight on food when it is buffet. It is full there. They still buffet and you carry food and look. They carry food and the soup is dropping on the floor. They have stolen all the money there. They have come here. There's no tribunal to check them. They are sending money there to fight people.
So
kill people.
Doc, and very important point that you brought, because I think also sometimes South Sudan leadership has raised these issues of some people who are disrupting the peace there and who are hosted in these other countries. So have we, as a region, especially the East African bloc, also failed in holding these people accountable, in allowing them to come and enjoy that money and live in peace in our countries while they continue to disrupt the peace in South Sudan? Have you failed the people of South Sudan?
We have. Miriam, we have. This television speaks the truth. If you want to kill me, kill me. We have failed. Ruto has joined hands with some of the rebels. They are building a very big building here. Here, near NHS. Rubbish. What the hell is this? And the same rebels are the ones disrupting the peace in the central Equatorial. You are now going to blame British. You are going to blame America. Why don't we blame ourselves here first?
And as we were on the blame and accountability, Doc, allow me to bring in the issue of DR, because I think they're very closely related. As we know that, and you've rightfully reminded us, their President Uhuru Kenyatta, I think today, is chairing a meeting. Last week he said that the East African bloc will have an East African force to help restore security in the troubled east of the Democratic Republic of Congo. The intentions were made a few weeks ago, and now they want to consolidate because of the intensity of the conflict that has continued to displace a lot of people, and also so many lives have been claimed. And the DRC has been consistent in how it has been accusing Rwanda of really being at the core of this conflict. So is it about time, outside of us putting up a force and taking it there, should the East African community first sit down and interrogate these claims by the DRC that Rwanda is at the heart of this? Can they solve this first before we move on to trying to find and restore peace in a northern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo? Can they interrogate this issue that DRC has been bringing up about Rwanda?
Nobody is going to speak about it.
And then what are we doing? What are we doing then?
Miriam, I want now to announce here. I spoke about it, and a certain telephone number kept on calling me. A certain telephone number kept on calling me. I've reported it somewhere because I spoke the truth. Tanzania says iwezi kukaa kwa meza moja kama wale watu wenye wanapatia hawa bunduki silaha. Let me not Kenyan English, Swahili au Uganda. Wale wenye wanapatianga M23 masilaha wanajulikana. Wawasi wenyewe wanajua nani anawapatia silaha. What is this?
So, and in this East African force, Rwanda will be part of it, and it's being accused of. So what are we doing?
Look, Congo has said those troops are welcome, except except Rwandese. So how will you form the East African Brigade? It is like telling Eritrea that hold. It's like holding a peace conference in Doha, where Eritrea is present, and then call Al-Shabaab. You see the problem we have here? We are not talking the truth, Jamen. When Al-Shabaab hits us, where do they go? In heaven? Or there's Venice? Or have they got a rocket, the satellites that fly and go and then come back later? Why are we being so honest to other things that we are not honest on this? Where does Al-Shabaab go when they have killed people? Why are they concentrated in a region? Who funds these guys with new uniforms that look like a Saudi Arabian uniform? How does that uniform cross the Red Sea to where they are? So you call a meeting and these guys come and say, they are eating our food and testing our women here. Yes. When we went for the peace process, let me justify. I'm sorry, Miriam, let me speak my mind to them that they didn't kill me. When we went for a peace process in South Sudan, before some of us joined the peace process, we asked cardinal questions to the rebels. I put my 4 points. 1, you don't attack and kill anymore. 2, release the children, the women, UN, UNICEF. 3, tell us where, who, how you get your money, your guns, because we need these things. And the number 5. Number 4, can you listen to number 4? Recognize the government. Recognize that President Museveni is a head of state of Uganda. I was very frank to the rebels. But if you are coming to the table and you don't recognize Tshisekedi, Miriam, are you hearing me? You are saying President Tshisekedi is not my president. Will you have that peace process move?
You can't. But I think that the issue with DRC and Rwanda, the East African bloc must talk about it. They have to look at these allegations.
My friend, let me tell you. Do you know, it is very painful. I wish, President Uhuru Kenyatta is going to get this clip, will listen to me and analyze it, please. That's why I'm here. Your Excellency, sir, I'm here. What you are doing is very good. But first of all, ask these guys. They should not drag you into something that they know. I'm not saying don't do it. Do it. But they should answer those questions. The biggest question that you must answer is, who funds you? How do you get your money? Whose interests are you fighting for? Do you want to create a state? Tell us. The people of Amazonia have told the world that we want a state. Isn't it? They have gone public and America has given them even the sanctuary. You want a state? Yes.
The intentions are not very clear exactly what these rebels want.
Yes.
They're not very
even
clear.
The rebels, every time we are saying they are invading Congo, they are taking Bunangako, they are taking this border post, what do they want? Do they want? Let them state that they want a state of Panamulange. Hey!
Can I come in, Daktari?
Yes, come
Go ahead. Sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead. We got carried away. Forgot about
No, we are not carried. No, we are on the same.
No, I'm saying we got carried away, forgot they're there. But go ahead.
Okay, if you look at the Congo conflict, since Mobutu was there, Rwanda and Uganda, they were major stakes. They're the ones who have created the Congo conflict to this much. At a certain point, Rwanda and Uganda fought in Congo seriously until such a time. I think Museveni and Kagame were not seeing one another.
No, it was called the Battle of Kisangani.
Yes. Now, if you look at, for me, the current situation you see in the Eastern Congo, especially Goma and Bukavu, where where the M23 rebels operate, I think Paul Kagame is having some issues to do with his stay in power. The eastern part of Congo, where the Banyamulenge are staying, these people are Rwandese descent. I think he wants to influence the political arrangement within that area such that his stay in power Rwanda would be much safer. But this thing is doing to the detrimental to the populace who are living there. He's not doing it for peace. He's doing for himself as a person who wants to rule for many years. So even if the conflict that the Kenya government, I think President Uhuru has been trying to do some work there he has already sent some of the Kenyan troops there to do some humanitarian work, of course, which is doing well. But I think this conflict would be much more solved if Rwanda itself and Uganda, partly, if they were be put outside this conflict within Eastern Congo. If their soldiers are not allowed that region, maybe they would take some neutral from to assist in propping up the peace process within that area. Another thing, if you look at during those times, you have spoken of Sierra Leone and Liberia. During those days of when the effectivity of United Nations under the leadership of we had some effective leadership from those who came from Africa, Boutros Ghali and Kofi Annan. They ensured that the resolutions, the 20 resolutions were effected, and we came to a peace process that has already lasted to this day. Now, the failure that we are seeing in South Sudan is the failure that we saw with Burundi. The only good thing that what happened that when Pierre Nkurunziza died, we have seen the calm that has returned in that country. But if that Nkurunziza was still the president, we will still be seeing the turmoil that we are seeing in South Sudan. So the peace process that we are looking at, Congo, for Congo to realize peace process, Rwanda and Uganda must be out of that country. That's my take.
And I think these are things, because I know Kenya is currently mediating between the DRC and these rebels who have been represented. Of course, the M23 were not invited to the table. But I think we don't know how those the negotiations are going. But these are some of the hard questions and issues they have to look at if really we will get peace in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And I think it is time that the issue of especially Rwanda being involved there, this is something that they have to look at it very candidly. Otherwise, we can't be sending forces there to help the DRC. And one of our countries in the East African bloc is also being accused. So they will be fighting. If they're equipping and they've been accused of supporting the M23, essentially they will be supporting a force that is fighting against other countries in this EAC, and that might create another quagmire that we have to deal with, as if we don't have enough issues to deal with, especially in this bloc. So I think this matter must be talked about. The issue of Rwanda aiding M23 and what we've seen happen and how this has been going on. I think this is something that the leadership in the East African bloc must look at and must address. Otherwise, we are setting up our forces, taking them there, and then one country is being accused of, they will be fighting the rest of us, and we are in the same block. So that's what I'm saying. This is a dog, as you would call it, a katogo or something like that. This is a cocktail of disaster and might lead to some diplomatic. It might lead to some diplomatic issues later on, because if another M23 support, if they're accused of killing or even another army from these other countries, say from Kenya, we will not take it lightly, or from Tanzania, we will not take it lightly. And we know, as DRC has claimed, they're being supported by Rwanda. So I think the issue of Rwanda here is something that cannot be overlooked anymore. This is something that has to be looked at, and they have to discuss it. Otherwise, all this mediation going on, I don't know where they're going with it. So I hope, we don't know the content of it.
Wesonga, before Wesonga comes in, the peace talks of you are coming in Wesonga just now. The peace talks of that are taking place are equivalent to what the church in Kenya is doing with Ruto and calling Ruto and the priests.
They gave up on that.
Yeah.
Hiyo ilikataa. Hiyo peace talk ya priest na Uhuru Kenyatta na Ruto hiyo ilikataa. The one they were calling for the president.
They are calling for, they are saying, they know exactly. Look at the priest today who was wearing yellow. This church, if blue takes over, will he wear the blue? Wearing the yellow shirts, preaching to people. Nonsense. Nonsense from America. They have come here and spoiled everything called religion. Even if when you go to those churches, I am a member. I am an assistant leader. What are they called? Church leader. Assistant for 32 years. In the Lady Mary Church in New Addington. I touch the money. I touch the money that the people bring and take it to the priest. But I don't behave like this man here. Some of these bishops who are flying big aeroplanes, waiting for them at Wilson, while telling us, come, Tuko, later. If you are watching us, the number is scrolling down there. Yeah? Oh, no. Good. Thank you, Miriam. I'm sorry. Wesonga, go ahead.
Wesonga, say your piece. We need to go now.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Masanga. And of course, Miriam, I just wanted to remind you that there's a clip where Dr. Masanga was talking about the beginning of this conflict in Congo. I think in one of the local media houses, together with Moses Kuria, back then in the day, where he lays out the facts. And I'm glad that my brother Paul Onyango has actually reiterated the same things that Dr. Masanga talked about during that particular time. And that actually boils down to whatever conflict we are having today in Congo, the eastern part of Congo. And Miriam, if I was to be honest, I think whatever Dr. Masanga is saying is nothing but the truth, about Rwanda's involvement in this particular conflict. If you look, yesterday I was checking out some articles about the kind of organization that is in the M23, the kind of machine and the kind of intelligence that Sultan Makenga Emmanuel is getting, together with his men, is actually high-tech, It could only point to one thing, that these people, these men, are actually being supplied in terms of ammunition, in terms of military equipment, in terms of intelligence, and in terms of even military personnel from Rwanda. And their only excuse is that, these people are in Congo, they are Tutsis, and therefore they speak Tutsis, and whenever Congolese government come to maybe encounter them in a battle, they hear them speaking Tutsi language, and they actually say that they are Rwandese. And that is the kind of the script that is there in Kigali. That is the kind of the script even the other day, General Sultan Makenga was talking about, just reading from the same script and actually trying in as much as possible to shield Rwanda from taking the blame and actually taking themselves taking responsibility of whatever is happening. But we have to ask ourselves the question, Miriam, who is offering training to these rebels? Who is actually issuing them with with intelligence? The other day, they took a very, very critical town near the border with the Uganda. And, it is not just maybe by virtue of design that any rebel group will come out maybe from the forest and be able to lay an ambush and be able to defeat a national army of a country, in a way that M23 did the other day. So we have to know who is giving them intelligence, who is arming these rebels, and who is actually giving them the personnel, because Miriam, the kind of people that are being recruited at the moment by M23 cannot just be that these are the residents of the eastern part of Congo who are Tutsis. And therefore, this conflict has to go, we have to look at it from where it began. This has something to do with the genocide that happened in Rwanda in 1994. It has to do with the conflict and the deep-seated, vengeance between the Hutus who fled from Rwanda into the eastern part of Congo and the Tutsis who are in Congo, who would have wanted that these guys are smoked out and therefore wanted the help of the Congolese government. But therefore, in doing so, it has brought on board a lot of issues, in that the conflict has mutated over time into something else, in that the Congolese government does not even have faith in its Rwandan neighbor by the way this issue is being handled. So, Miriam, I think this is a very, very big issue. And as Dr. Mutsanga said right now, they have to look deeper into this particular matter. You remember the days of Bosco Ntaganda, you remember the days of Laurent Kunda, you remember the days of Jean-Pierre Bemba. These were not individuals who are acting on the behest of the local people of the eastern part of Congo, but these were individuals who had been strategically put there to actually sabotage the stability of the eastern Congo, and their target was that in doing so, they would actually gain the momentum and be able to muster an army of rebels to be able to march over and overthrow the government in Kinshasa. And therefore, Miriam, we would ask the most important question, even as this conflict rages on. Before Sultan Makenga, we had a man called Laurent Kunda, who had been an army general in the Congolese army after the integration, after they signed an agreement in March 23, here in Nairobi. Where did that man disappear to? Who is housing Laurent Kunda? So therefore, if we can be able to find the people who are working behind Laurent Kunda, we can also be able to unmask the people who are behind the M23 of today under General Emmanuel Makenga. So to me, I think, Miriam, there's more than meets the eye. The Congolese government has its own intelligence. The Tanzanian government has its own intelligence. And therefore, these two governments cannot be wrong if they all point fingers at a certain direction. And I'll reiterate perhaps what Dr. Matsanga said, because Dr. Matsanga has been following this conflict. There's a very, very nice clip where he was discussing, I think in one of the radio stations, about the conflict in Congo. We have to actually interrogate what is happening, who is funding these people. And it's, the truth is as open as the day, Miriam. So I think it is a matter that we need clarity on. And like you said, Miriam, we cannot afford to send our men in uniform in a region where we have a conflict, where we believe that some of the partners are not honest about their commitment in actually maybe combating and eradicating rebels from the eastern part of Congo. Because as we do so, they will also be sharing intelligence with the rebels, and that would be tantamount to putting our men in uniform at risk. And I agree with you 100%. So that is the way we should look at this particular conflict. I submit.
Okay, so the FDLR, I think the Forces for Liberation of Rwanda, they're the ones in the eastern Congo, but the M23 and the rest of the other rebels are in northern part, the North Kivu. And so the FDLR are mainly Hutu, and Rwanda is accusing Democratic Republic of Congo of supporting this FDLR to fight the M23, which is mainly Tutsi. So it is, like you correctly mentioned it, the remnants of the genocide in 1994 that is now spilling over. Rwanda seems to have gotten itself in order, but we see the effect of what that has become in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Thank you so much for pointing out some of the very important factors as far as that conflict is concerned.
Let me make it very clear in a nutshell, Miriam, that the Hutu
FDLR
remnants, militants, the Interahamwe, allegedly fled to DRC Congo. Miriam, this war is going to open so many things. And it is opening so many things that we had forgotten. one of the things that people have forgotten, which nobody wants to speak about, is the number of blue tents that everybody saw worldwide in DRC Congo. Where did they go? Let's close the show. If you can. Where you in no, tuambiane sasa watu wanaanza kupungua hii kitu. Let's not open these chapters. One of the disagreements between me and Kofi Annan is I asked that question. I was hated. One of the disagreements between me and Obasanjo, when we flew to Ngoma to meet Nkunda, on the plane, I asked Obasanjo, you have been given a mandate by Kofi Annan. We are going to, because Nkunda called me, never called Obasanjo, stupid, called me on my satellite phone. I can bring it now. It is still here with me. Can I bring you and show you the satellite phone? He called me and said, if you are coming to see me, you only come with Matsanga. We had done very well. We had finished our Uganda peace process. We had gone to Kampala. For us, we had finished. Until President Museveni spoiled it with the Americans. On 14th of December, they ordered, I was going to go there on 14th. I would be dead. After Kampala on 8th, we agreed I go there on 14th. William, I'm opening up today, maybe Jesus Christ, today. Isaiah chapter 31 to 3. I read it very early in the morning and it opened up my eyes. I was going to fly in on 13th, 14th. The whole delegation, we would be smiling near the fire up there or near God. Conspiracy. Now, I asked one question to Obasanjo. As the plane took over from JKA, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, the UN plane, we are heading to Ngoma. I said, have you ever told the world what happened to the blue tents that disappeared to Congo? Nobody up to today wants to discuss that issue. Now, slowly, we are coming in. There is the General Makenge, General who. You look at that. Look. And when you look at the statements that people are writing on Twitter and this and that, you weigh them, you put them together. I think His Excellency the President of Kenya should put a very tough technical team which knows this history very well. Otherwise, mzee, wanakufunga macho, wanataka kukuletea shida hapa. That's all I can end my statement today.
Yeah. And this...
Utakuwa huko watakuletea shida hapa. Hawa wanajua what it is, but they don't say it. They have common agenda. I want now to say, didn't I tell you there was going to be a proxy war in East Africa? For the first time, I want to hear it from Miriam. How many times? I think this time you are not going to put your paper in the eyes. You will say it. I said it, my dear. We are seated with you. Several times I've said there's a proxy war in this region, and it will erupt. Isn't it there today? Wesonga, Miriam, you have been with me. Didn't I say it? It's a proxy war. 7 years ago, I saw the proxy war coming. And it did not take long before they struck the first military coup, Burundi. When Tanzanian forces moved into Burundi and removed the man who had actually taken President Nkurunziza out, have you seen any African state saying there were Tanzanian troops there? Did you hear it? Who installed Nkurunziza to power? So please, tunajua mengi, tunaachia hapa. I said there is a proxy war in East Africa, and the French will create us a proxy war. Now, on this one, if someone has played politics, it's not going to work or go well. The Commonwealth is going to be held in Rwanda on Tuesday. They have asked, the Congolese government has asked the Prime Minister of Britain to prevail over President Kagame to stop the occupation of Congo. Didn't we read the newspaper there? It's not me. I speak the truth. I like what President Uhuru Kenyatta is doing. He has brought peace with Tigray. Miriam, from day one, didn't I stand with Tigray? Didn't I stand with Tigray? Give me a credit here at times. If my own person, give me a credit. I stood with Tigray. I said there's something wrong. The Ethiopians are killing Tigray. Dr. Abiy is killing Tigray. I stood, and here we are. Peace has come. President Kenyatta has never diverted. He never.
There's still some active conflict, but the TPLF have agreed to a mediation process if it is led by Kenya.
Yeah, but the point I'm making is
the conflict is still there, Doc. The conflict is still there.
Yes, it's there, but I stood with Tigray. I said TPLF is under siege. It was Somalia, Eritrea, and Ethiopia. And I said it categorically that Obasanjo cannot manage the conflict of Ethiopia.
I forgot Obasanjo was trying to mediate. I don't know what became of those mediation process.
Obasanjo, the topic we have had of Sudan. Who killed the Sudan? Who killed the South Sudan? Obasanjo. I have 2 reports here. And if I put them outside, some country not in Africa will cry. I have them. Before they removed them, I had 2 reports made 2. The one, it is like Hassan Omar and Moses Kuria having gone to document to kill Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto. Then they came out and said they are very clean. Me, I recall, sorry, I'm not calling myself. Look at this letter. Baroness Scotland, Miriam, is calling me because they know me. I'm not calling myself to go to Rwanda or to attend this conference or to be part. They know my contribution, my statements, how I state. I speak the truth. Me, I cannot be a party to everybody, people washing things under the carpet. There's something wrong. These rebels, someone is blindfolding us. Meanwhile, at the tail end, is servicing a party in Kenya that could bring us more chaos. Thank you.
Right, and that is where we end our show this evening. Thank you so much. This has been Africa Showdown. Thank you, Paul Onyango and Daniel Wesonga, and of course, Dr. David Matanga. We shall see you here bright and early tomorrow, God willing.
I invite, before you finish, Miriam, I invite Paul Onyango tomorrow for, it is not the Pan-African Forum. It will be diplomatic leaks. Miriam, we have reduced it to diplomatic leaks. No more discussion, because I need to see Zimbabwe. I want to get ideas as to whether they want to join or not.
Okay.
But from what I have seen, there are two sides. So I'll reframe the question and say, is it, and if Sam is hearing, let's rephrase the question. What benefits does Zimbabwe get in rejoining the Commonwealth? Are you listening to the question? What benefits? Sam, what benefits does Zimbabwe get by rejoining the Commonwealth? On diplomatic leaks, and include Paul Onyango, include everybody, include PLO Lumumba there, but not on Pan-African Forum. I will do another one on Pan-African Forum, but we do that one at 11 o'clock East African Standard Time. Tomorrow we start our news at 9 o'clock East African Time. We have some rest. Then we begin the diplomatic leaks, the Commonwealth Conference in Kigali. What benefits? Commonwealth, a big heading, what benefits does Zimbabwe gain in rejoining the Commonwealth? I think there people can attack from all angles, including Miriam. I can see she's going to bring in quite a number of issues that are very interesting. As always, I want to learn, and I learn a few things from you, if you didn't know. Like now there is a point you picked there of colonialism. Why don't we teach people about colonialism? Yes.
In the UK syllabus. We want to thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow, God willing. Bye-bye for now.